think the first time we met was the I'm Serious session, if I ain't mistaken.
Yeah.
Or I mean, we may have met in passing at some parties here or there before then, but you know, our first time really having I guess, an elaborate, extended conversation was the I'm Serious and the Panty Pumper sessions. But
it was a jam though.
Yeah,
that's when I first saw you, like how you wrote. It's like, what's this guy doing? He's just standing there, looking in daze. I used to write on paper back then, so that was the only way I knew. Like, this guy was just like, that was like so crazy to me. Jay was the only other person that I knew that did that, because I always thought that was like an anomaly, that like, you know, someone would like be able to do that, and I was like, no way. And then he would go in and say the most prolific shit ever. When he did that, I just thought that was the craziest thing ever. He was young back then too, like 19. Like, that was crazy to me, because I was like 30 maybe.
Yeah. I mean, but you know, you kind of have your own version of that. You know, you sit and you kind of just stare at the board for a minute, maybe like this, and then you just say, I got it. And you just go and...
That's crazy.
In 5 minutes, yes, you do that. You do that.
That's crazy.
You do that.
that like...
You don't remember, hold up, you don't remember Paperwork in Miami?
Yeah.
We was upstairs. That's when you introduced me to the hat.
Yes, sir.
The first hat.
Yeah.
So, you know, we upstairs, man, and the man, you know, he just like, you know, we talking. He just like, man, I've been thinking, man, you know, just over and over, man, I've just been thinking Paperwork, you know, and it's got to be a movie. It's got to be Scorsese. It's got to be, and then you just start thinking. Maybe 30 seconds later, you said, I got it.
That's crazy. Because that was my thinking, that it needed to fit like it would be, like it would work in a Goodfellas film, you know? Because that's what he always has, like the most ironic music while someone's getting killed. That's when I realized, okay, cool, we need to pull from the 60s, and instead of doing like some kind of, you know, 60s pop or rock record, we probably need to do some, you know, what would Curtis do?
Right.
You know, and how could we take what you talking about and just give people a feeling in a way that they never felt no hip hop before.
And, you know, both of us will go back and forth, and he'll send me, hey, what do you think about this? I'll be like, okay, well, what do you think about that? And we'll just continue to build on top of whatever we lay in the studio at that moment. That is kind of like, that's our foundation.
I ain't never heard that before.
Which part?
Just like your whole, like your viewpoint of like how we work. When you're in it, it's one thing, you live it and you see it from your perspective, but then when you hear it back.
And that's another thing about when we work together, we would constantly add stuff and change stuff, even if it's a drop or just a different section. You know, I might go in there and, you know, say the same thing with a different delivery, or a different cadence, pattern, a different cadence. And we will do that up until the time where someone says that it is over, okay? No more. You can't touch it or change it anymore.
Yeah.